Good evening, everybody, and happy Hump Day Wednesday. It is your host for tonight, Marquessa Keith, your personal and professional development coach, owner of Atkins and Keith Consultants, LLC, and FitNLadyLike trademark. And welcome to tonight's episode. This is episode 4 of Fit In Lady Like a Boss, the yoga episode. And I have with me tonight my good friend and special guest, Issa Kushma, and she's going to talk to us tonight about yoga. So as you all know, I will not steal her thunder. I am going to allow her to do the brunt of the introduction of herself, but I'm going to give you a tad bit about her. So she is my U.S. Army comrade with over 24 years of service. So in advance of Veterans Day tomorrow, I want to thank you for your service. I say, whoa. Thank you so much for proudly serving our country for over 24 years. That's amazing in itself. She is the owner of It's Amazing Fitness. Oh my gosh, she's a wellness coach. She's a certified personal trainer and certified yoga instructor. Let me say that again. Certified yoga instructor. So y'all know that we're going to talk some great detail tonight about yoga. So I hope you all have your pen, your paper, your iPad, your phone, whatever you need to copy down these gems, because in the way of the world today, in the midst of a pandemic and everything else that we have going on, you are going to learn a whole lot more of the importance of doing yoga. So without further ado, Issa, I'm going to turn it over to you for you to tell us a little bit more about you, and we'll jump right into this discussion for tonight.
Hey, Marquessa, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. And I always jump at the opportunity to talk more specifically about yoga, wellness, and meditation. So I am, as you stated, I am a personal trainer as well as I am a yoga instructor. I was trained through the Yoga Teacher College, taught by Lucas Rockwood out of Spain. I actually got certified during the pandemic, and I'm also a kettlebell athlete as well as I am a retiring veteran. I'm a retiring Army soldier, soon to be full V status. So when it comes to like yoga and stuff, I wanted to dive head first. I first was really truly exposed to yoga when I had a bunch of back pain and hip pain, and I was going through pain management via the military, and then they got rid of the program, and then boom, that was it. And years later, I went on a yoga retreat, and I didn't do yoga, but I hijacked a yoga retreat in Bali. And that's when I really realized that I needed to dive more into this, because the great thing about that yoga retreat is it's led by a woman of color. The yoga instructor was a woman of color, and everyone that was on the yoga retreat were women and men of color. And I thought that was so cool. And I just started talking to other people on the retreat, even though I went there not knowing anyone. And I was just like drawn to the fact that more people need to be exposed to this, more people specifically in our community, whether it's the African American community, the women's community, or even the soldiers community. We need this. And yoga for so long felt not accessible to me, and I fit all of those categories I mentioned, but in all those communities, I didn't find it accessible. But going on this yoga retreat, I was like, okay, we need an amplification of the voice, because just that one weekend, somebody who again couldn't do yoga, that one weekend or that 1 week, excuse me, I was like, oh no, this was life changing. I got to learn more, and I'm a forever learner. So I just kept diving deep. I started getting books on my own, started studying, started kind of practicing on YouTube. And I just knew like I wanted to put this in my kit bag for things that I teach. Because I already teach the strength side of fitness. the personal training, TRX, kettlebell. I do that easily. But a lot of my clients aren't getting that more holistic health side and the mobility and like you don't see people stretching in the gym anymore. Even when you go to these group fitness classes, they may do a warm up. No one's stretching at the end. No one's really having conversations about how to manage stress, how to manage different health issues outside of medication, outside of the Medicare type of system, the medical system. But there's other options, but we're not really talking about it in our community. And especially in our community, we barely want to go to the doctor. Again, whether you military, you're not trying to go to the doctor, or you are a person of color, you're not trying to go to the doctor. Like Black folks got a problem. We're going to that. We don't trust them. So then we don't go. And now we have all these ailments that keep compounding over and over. And it's like there's other ways. There's other ways. And don't even get me started on behavioral health.
Oh, right.
And yoga has a place for all of that. So that's kind of how I found myself in this space. And I'm actually loving it more than my physical strength personal training stuff that I do.
And that I'm glad you brought all of that up because it does sound like you gained a newfound passion, or I won't even say newfound, a deeper passion, because I think you were doing some of this already just from the background of me knowing you and knowing a little bit more about your background. But I want to segue and dive a little bit deeper into the strength part of yoga, because you mentioned something just briefly about how you were experiencing pain in your own body and that drove you to it. And we both know, and probably some of the viewers know as well, that yoga helps with more than just stretching, more than just flexibility. So when we think about strength training, we automatically equate that to weight training in order to get stronger. So can you deep dive with the audience and share a little bit more about how the benefits of yoga from a strength standpoint, how one who may not understand how yoga and strength coincide, but can you deep dive that just a little bit more and talk about the benefits of yoga from a strength perspective?
Yes. So when most people think of strength training, they think of your curl, your bicep curls, your muscle flex, and all of that. Well, there's also a thing called isometric holds. And that is a form of strength. And any bodybuilder will tell you the hardest part of bodybuilding is practicing the poses because those are your isometric holds. So with yoga, a lot of times you're holding different positions. And so you're gonna get stronger. They're not, the typical muscles that you work when, you're doing bicep curls or squats, but we have more muscles than, the 5, 6 major muscle groups that we think about. And so it really helps with your stabilizer muscles as well as your overall core strength definitely improves. And especially in the world of desk jobs, a lot of us lose core strength. And what a lot of people don't realize is oftentimes back pain is caused because of weak core strength. When people think of, oh, I'm gonna do 1,000 crunches, they're just thinking about your abs. But your core is a lot more than just your abs. It is the core of your body. So that is the front and the back. And yoga is really, really good at building up your core, especially when you get to some of those fancy Instagram worthy poses, as we'll call them. You need a very strong core to do it. And everybody has a core. So you don't have to be a size 2 to do yoga and to have a strong core. Because, baby, I'm definitely not a size 2, but my core is super strong. But that was a thing that I was going to, why the military was sending me to these yoga classes. I was doing hip strengthening exercises, and I was doing a lot of core work to help counter some of the back pain because my lordosis was extremely bad. Lordosis, let's say, is Instagram booty syndrome, where that curve is like that. And it's a bad beat. No, she got lordosis. Okay.
Yes.
And come from people who walk in heels, they tend to have it. So again, it's that deep curve in their back because their core, so if this is your core, their core has gotten weak and their back muscles is carrying all the weight. And then you want to add a big booty on top of it. Oh yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah, so in the isometric hold, that's very interesting because as I think about that in hindsight, an isometric hold in the form of working out, you cannot be working out and be doing an isometric hold and not even realize it. And you alluded to it about the desk jobs, right? Sitting in one position for a long period of time, whether you're wiggling your legs, rolling your feet on a little roller ball. Some people put a lot of things at their desk jobs to keep them comfortable, to keep their blood flowing. But that whole slouching piece, you know, a lot of times my lower and upper back would hurt because I'm one of the ones who have a desk job. You know, I mainly sit at a desk and crank out contracts. So for me, you know, I try to posture myself. It even got to a point where I would buy the posture bands that go around my arms that would keep my shoulders pushed back because I find myself now that I'm getting older kind of slumping to the front without even realizing that I'm slumping. And what I find is listening again to what you're saying about the core strength, your back is only as strong as your core, and vice versa. Your core is only as strong as your back. So when people see back exercises on YouTube, whether they're doing it on their own or they're being guided by a personal trainer, sometimes they may not connect the importance of back training in the form of stretching it and going through the yoga poses. And when they finally get to yoga, if they try it, I notice some people will either give up on it before they start or they'll fall asleep during yoga because it's so relaxing, or they find themselves saying, you know what, I can't really do yoga because I'm not all that flexible, but they may not be connecting with the fact that there are some joints and some muscle tightness that needs to be broken down and loosened up by incorporating yoga into your daily routine at least once a week, if not more. So can you talk a little bit more about, you know, how with the pain that you talked about it releasing, I also know that it can help ease like arthritis type symptoms that some of us may have experienced or suffer with, or we kind of feeling that stiffness in different parts of our body. So how can yoga really help promoting the fact that it can ease some of those arthritis symptoms before they progress?
Okay, so that's a really good question because again, that's part of how I found yoga. Again, I have many chronic injuries. I now have developed some rheumatoid arthritis, and I have lots of musculoskeletal issues. And my muscles get super tight and tense, and we're not even talking about stress yet, you know. And yoga has really helped me strengthen one, my core muscles. It's also helped me relax more, which again releases some of that tension. And just like anything that has you stressed out, once you start to release any piece of the tension, the other releases will come as well. Yoga has really helped with that. It has helped improve my flexibility. And mind you, I'm a yoga instructor, and most days I still can't touch my toes. I mean, I have that much arthritis in my back, and I have four pinched. I have four pinched nerves in my back, as well as a couple of other things. But I still do yoga, and I always reference the Instagram version of yoga because that's what people see, and so then that's what people think. So again, people think, oh, I can't. I thought it myself. I can't do yoga. I can't be a yoga instructor. I can't touch my toes. How about you can't touch your toes because you don't do yoga? How about you keep working at the yoga and eventually you will be able to touch your toes if that's your goal. But yoga is so much more than that. Again, yoga, it's it's a huge, that's why they like to use the lotus flower. It's just a budding flower of different things. There's different forms of yoga as well. And so you don't always have to do the flexi bendy yoga to still be considered doing yoga. You don't have to do the mantras or speak the Sanskrit words, and you don't have to know what a savasana is to do yoga. Right. A different, that's a form of it,
Yes.
but and you don't have to, and I know a lot of Christians who don't want to participate in yoga because they think that yoga is a religion. Yoga is not a religion. There is a leg, but you don't have to practice that. Like, I don't practice that, and I definitely don't teach it. I don't teach the spiritual aspect of yoga. I study it for myself, but I don't teach it. I just teach the poses, the asanas. Again, the word doesn't matter, but I teach the poses of yoga for the benefits, as far as, and a lot of arthritis can come from the muscle tension and the overworked joints and things like that. So anything to help relieve it. And the good thing about yoga is, the most important thing to me, every yogi watching this is like, don't say this, but the most important thing to yoga to me, and what I teach, is connecting the movement with the breath. So then that makes it a mindful practice. And that is what is important, for us to start doing things mindfully. Do it with intention. So again, you have all these other little trickle over areas, just like, meditation or journaling or this, all these different things. You can find that in yoga as well. And it's really helped me relax a lot more. It's helped me stretch my muscles out. I am a lot more flexible than I used to be. Back when I first started doing the yoga training, girl, I was crying in the class. I would be crying because what I did not know, I had to contact another yogi friend of mine, is there's also certain poses that will unlock different things and will unlock emotions and will release tension in ways that you didn't even know you were holding tension. And when I called my friend and was like, I don't think I can complete class, I don't think I can complete the training because I keep crying. And she goes, are y'all doing binds and twists? I was like, yes. She's like, oh yeah, I cried too. And that's something that I didn't even know. So again, just the different things that yoga does, it helps release some of that tension. And what it does is it puts your body in a stressful situation. That's what yoga does. It puts you in these poses, these positions, which is why people don't like it. And it's a stressful situation. But when you connect that movement with the breath, you're going to start to learn how to breathe through a stressful situation. I'm going to put you in that position and you'll start breathing through it. Just like in the military, we do so much training that once we hit the real thing, we know how to function and move through once we see the real thing. So that's where it also trickles over to other parts of your life. So when someone who deals with a lot of anxiety, when I'm in, at one of these fitness conferences and it's so many people there and my PTSD kicks in, I'm now in a real world stressful situation, but thanks to yoga, I know how to control my breath and relax while all of the stress is going on around me. So again, that's there's so much with yoga. It's about finding the right instructor and finding the right fit. Just like anything with fitness, it's about finding the right fit for you.
Right. And we both know, typically when you're starting something new, and in this case, I'll say a beginner to yoga or someone who started and quit and went back to it. I want to go back and touch on the part about unlocking emotions. When you mentioned you went through that stressful situation and you cried through it, but you continued to do it. I think that is really important. And what it made me think about when you said that about yoga unlocks emotions is sometimes it can trigger defeat because your body is not used to being put in those sorts of positions, and your limbs can be so tight, your joints can have become so stiff because we don't stretch properly. We think we are, but sometimes we're really not, and it triggers defeat. So for a person who may be a beginner or trying to go back to it and they're taking it serious, can you share with us like some type of equipment or pieces of equipment that they can start out with? I know there's yoga blocks that will help people get a deeper stretch or help you bend a little bit further or help you sit into things, because when I was doing yoga consistently while I was deployed, I need to get back to it. I had to use a block a lot of the times just to get my legs and my muscles and my joints to loosen up enough to get in some of the positions that we would get into. And once I did that repeatedly, that one piece of equipment really helped me not feel so defeated, because I felt the same way. And I almost cried. I was sweating like crazy, like, oh my gosh, this yoga is more of a workout than my bodybuilding regimens. What is going on here? So it did trigger the emotion of defeat to the point where I didn't quit, but I became very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can share, like, what pieces of equipment beginners can put in their repertoire or put in their stash at home, because a lot of people are homebound now because of the pandemic. They're not really going to yoga classes, but for the ones that are great because the equipment is there. But the people who are not, and they may be looking at YouTube or they have a video from someone that is taking them through the motions, what kind of equipment would you recommend they start with so that they can get better at getting into some of these yoga poses and positions?
Okay, and I'm gonna keep y'all on the low. Real friends don't let other friends pay full price, so you can get most of this stuff at Five Below. I'm just saying.
Five below.
Five Below.
I love it.
The holidays
I
get
love
ready,
it.
so everything about to go on sale. And they about to bring all this stuff back out anyway. But yoga blocks, get two. Get at least two yoga blocks. That's why I said go to Five Below. Because when I first started, I had one of them super expensive yoga blocks and I could only afford one. Get two. I can't explain why. Just trust your girl. Get two. Get a yoga strap. Again, most of the time Five Below has them as well. Or you can use a belt. But get some sort of strap so that what happens is, I don't want y'all to see my Zoom outfit, so I'm not going to let my pants show. But you can hook the strap onto your feet to help stretch, or if you're trying to do some sort of bind where you're trying to touch your fingers together. My fingers aren't touching, but if I'm holding onto a strap behind me, that strap is going to close the gap some. You only need one strap though. You definitely want a mat. You definitely want a yoga mat, but again, if funds are tight, use a blanket or something. Just use a blanket or a rug, something like that, whatever you have. But you want something kind of between you and the ground, because some of those moves and being on the ground and doing spinal rolls, you don't want to do it on the hard concrete. Or just go outside. Another one is a chair. If you're super, super beginner, use a chair. So when I do yoga with the geriatric community, we do chair yoga, because a lot of people with their arthritis, they can't get their arms up. Wow. So when you're talking about something like a sun salutation, that's where you see people go hands up, hands down, bending over, hopping on the ground, all of that. Use a chair instead. So you're basically shortening the distance between you and the ground because you're going to do it on the chair. So, or just find someone who teaches specifically chair yoga. So we have another thing you want to get is like a pillow of some sort. Now you can use your couch cushions pillow, or you can go to Five Below. You can go to Dollar General and go get a pillow.
Yes.
But you want a pillow to sit, because a lot of people, like, I'm actually sitting, full disclosure, guys and gals, I'm sitting on a pillow right now because the way that my back sits, I can't sit on my bum for too long. So I'm sitting on a pillow, and the same thing. That's why a lot of people don't like meditating, because they get super uncomfortable sitting. A lot of people can't even sit cross-legged anymore. They can't sit cross applesauce. So what the pillow does, it just like squat, right? It changes that angle for you. So you sit on the pillow, and it's going to tilt your pelvis and make it a little bit more comfortable for you to sit. Mm-hmm. So, and even when you're doing like your forward bends and trying to touch your toes in a seated position, having that pillow underneath your butt, you can tilt it. And even if you don't have a pillow, you can take your mat and roll your mat up and sit on your mat. So those are the main pieces of equipment that I would recommend people have. And then if you are a super beginner, I honestly recommend that you get an actual instructor, someone that can watch you. YouTube is great, but for somebody that is just starting out, I would want you to find an instructor that can do one-on-one interactions, even if it's just for maybe 5 classes, so that they can look at your form and make sure that you are getting in the right positions in ways that a YouTube video won't be able to see.
Mm.
And trust me, with the pandemic, I know one in particular, but there are lots of instructors that will teach yoga over Zoom, and you just have to have your camera on so that they can see you. And again, eventually you can cut the camera off, but I highly recommend that for beginners. Is that's where your investment should be, is a yoga instructor that can actually watch you and help you get in that right form and find regressions and positions for you and your body.
Okay. And this one may seem weird or bizarre or, oh my gosh, girl. But here's an experience I had with my very first yoga class that I went to, right? I always wear leggings or tights when I go to the gym, just in general. But sometimes I may wear like a loose, muscle tight top because I like the fit of it with a sports top underneath. Girl, the first class I went to with some of the poses like the downward dog and other things like that, that top was getting in my way so bad I had to downgrade to the bra. So one thing that I would offer to people when it comes to clothing, not that you have to go out and get anything expensive, and here's why I would get your advice on that. Leggings, something comfortable that you can bend and stretch in that will give. But when it comes to the tops, because of the type of movements and positions that you're going to be getting in, that just was not helpful for me. What's some of your experience when it comes to the top part of your clothing, whether they're form fitting, fit like a glove, a little bit loose? Because that loose top that I had on gave me the business that day.
And because, amongst the majority of my friends, I'm a prude. So I ain't never teaching yoga in no sports bra. But that is why you do see people in low key, skimpy clothes or whatever when they do yoga, because exactly what you said. But so someone like me, I'll do it in a t shirt, but my t shirt will usually have like a knot in it.
Okay.
Like I'm in the 80s, I have a knot in the front, a knot on the side, a knot in the back, something like that. Or if I have on a tank top, same thing. I'm going to put some sort of knot in it. Or I'm going to wear like a bodysuit shirt. So
Mm.
Amazon, I buy these like little bodysuits that it's the tank top connected to the shorts. And I'll still put my leggings or my comfortable like the Bobby Brown pants. I'll wear those a lot, but I'll have a one piece underneath it
Yep.
because I'm just more comfortable in that.
Yeah.
But
And
you
I asked,
want to be careful with having super loose tops because again, you get to moving, and then a lot of people don't like for their shirt to come up in the back, and then now you can see their panties.
yes. And I asked that question too because, even though it may seem like something so minuscule or very simplistic, like, oh my gosh, why we asked that question? Because in yoga, it goes back to that mind connecting to the breath, that any little distractor will not allow you, it would alleviate you from doing that. If you're distracted by other things going on, it just becomes daunting and you're kind of like, no, 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 no.
You
I'm
look
not even
for any
focused on.
excuse to stop.
Right. It becomes a quick stop, like you're halting on it. So speaking of which, I want this will lead me to the next part of discussion that I want to deep dive before we get ready to close out here, is the whole mind to breath that you mentioned. And in every yoga class that I've been to, I mean, even hot yoga, every class I've been to, there has been some form of relaxation type music, soft music in the background. And I found myself connecting through that to connect on what the instructor is telling me to do so that I can really relax my mind and really truly allow my mind to let go of anything that is cluttered in there, that's creating stress, that's creating anxiety, that's creating everything but a peace of mind so I can focus on the moment. So can you talk to us about, the benefits of why that music is played, how you use it, and how things have gone for you and some of your classes and your clients, and what benefits have you seen from the different type of music that you play and what you recommend to people who are doing it from home?
So I would recommend you do and play whatever music you find comfortable, that you're comfortable with. Some people are comfortable with doing yoga to Chopin or to Bach or Vivaldi. Some people, I'm serious, but then there's also a thing called trap yoga. So you
Mm,
have the old, look on Spotify. There are trap yoga classes like all through Atlanta. So they doing yoga to Two Chains and Drake, and it's whatever's going to keep you present in the moment. And
mm-hmm,
also, you got to think, since there are different types of yoga, there's different speeds of
mm-hmm,
as well. Me personally, when I do my practices, I like to use naturistic type of sounds because I'm most comfortable outside in nature, as if I was in a jungle or something, minus the mosquitoes. So I like to listen to that kind of music. It's also what I meditate to as well. And then if there's just some kind of like melodic background music, okay, that's cool. And then for other people, when I'm teaching yoga online, what
mm-hmm.
I have the client do is let you pick whatever music. So again, if you want to listen to, Two Chains, just mute your mic. You mute your mic and play whatever is comfortable for you, because music, everybody's affected by music differently, and I just want you to show up. I just want you to show up. So if someone is uncomfortable listening to, trap music, because I may be listening to it while we're doing the practice, feel free to use whatever makes you comfortable.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a wealth of information and a lot of knowledge in, a 30-minute episode to just deep dive yoga. So I'm greatly appreciative of you sharing that information with us. And I know the audience and the Fit In Ladylike group is appreciative as well, because I know I don't know as much as I would like to know about yoga, but I'm going to continue to learn and grow and develop from it and continue to be consistent with it, because I'm at a new gym now and they offer the yoga classes. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of that, because they have, regular yoga as well as hot yoga. And I know I need some water to release in this here body in the body. So I'm definitely going to do hot yoga. But is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we go into the fast round mindset questions of the night?
Um, just give it a try. Just give it a try. Don't believe what everybody say when like, oh, that's what white people do. Don't, please don't stop.
Mm-mm.
It's what people do.
People,
What
absolutely.
people do. I mean, it was actually started over in a country full of brown people. So it's been co-opted, but it's not, yoga is not what white people do. It is what people who want to connect their movements with their breath does.
Yes, and I'm happy to hear in certain locations that people are pushing to get yoga in schools as a part of their recess and free time for a few minutes, just to help them relax, because it is a great method or form of relaxation, helping with anxiety, helping with stress, maybe some depressive type thoughts. I won't say depression, because again, there's medication out there for certain things, but before your mindset gets to a depressed mode, yoga is a form. Even if you're going to counseling, because I've been in counseling too, they recommend that in counseling sessions, especially depending on how stressed you are and how deep or great your anxiety may be that's causing your sleep to be disturbed at night. They give you yoga practices.
Because it's for you to slow down and be present.
It is. Be
Be
present in the moment.
present. We've gotten so distracted in the world with all of the things that being present is very difficult for people. And a lot of the anxiety people feel is because they're forward thinking. They're not thinking in the
Right.
moment. They're worried about tomorrow, next week, next year. And yoga is just a moment of time. That's why we focus on the breath, because that is something that is here and now. Your breath is here and now. You cannot deny it, or you gonna die. So
Listen, that was helpful. Thank you so much. So we're gonna jump right into the fast round mindset questions to coincide with this yoga episode. So the first one is, what is your favorite book?
I don't have a favorite book because I read too much, but I would say the book that I'm reading right now that I highly recommend for wellness purposes It's called After the Rain. I do not know the author's name, but it is available on audiobook, and there's an actual book. I first had it on audiobook. It was so good with the journal prompts that I had to buy the actual book. It is
Okay.
called The Rain.
After the Rain.
It is a wellness. You're listening to someone else's wellness journey or journey through wellness.
I'm going to have to check that one out too then. And then the next question is, what is your favorite self-care activity?
Massages.
Ah,
I have a private masseuse back home.
okay, girl.
I'm so upset I haven't been able to see them because I'm not home right now. So I just went on to Massage Envy today. Massages, self-care.
Yes, and we have a Facebook user that said, Happy Veterans Day, ladies. Thank you, thank you. And then the next question is, how many times were you told no?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day, all day. Do you not know? Did we not mention the three things?
Did they-
I'm black. I'm a woman. I'm in the military.
A lot of factors with
All
no,
the
no,
time.
no.
But it's okay. I mean, it's fine.
But I bet your yeses have been everything, right?
That's what I focus on. I focus on the yeses.
Yes, absolutely. And then the next question is, do you have a business coach or mentor?
I do not. There you go. That's it.
Cool. And what is the most rewarding aspect of your fitness journey or your fitness business?
Helping other people. I have an attitude of servitude. So I
Oh,
love helping people see themselves pretty much the way I see them. That they can do anything they set their mind to. They just need a little help. I love it. Oh gosh. Oh, that's
absolutely. That's always the win, right? Is seeing other people be able to benefit from your help, your assistance, whatever it is you have to offer to them, seeing the smiles on their face. Absolutely, girl. And I know you done helped a lot of people. You sure helped me. And then the next question is, give us your number one health and wellness tip.
ooh shoot. Find a practice. Find something. Actually prioritize your health and your wellness. Please.
Oh, girl, that was powerful right there. Prioritize your health and your wealth. Listen, because health is wealth. Health is wealth. Food is medicine. And listen, it's all about the choices that we make. That's what it ends up really, really being. So it's a thank you so much. And tell us, how can the audience reach you if they want to connect with you outside of this to learn more about yoga, your certified personal training, fitness? How can they reach you? I have your Instagram handle here.
That is the easiest way to reach me is through my IG. I will answer IG before I answer a text message. I promise you. It's amazing fitness. I'm on IG. I'm on IG every single day. I clear out my DMs every day. But if you don't have Instagram, you can email me at It's Amazing Fitness, and I will respond within like 2 days. But it's Amazing Fitness is the easiest way to get a hold of me. I also have in that profile, I have my link tree. So you can hear other podcasts I've done. And once I start opening up my group classes again, uh, it'll be in the link tree. But IG is the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Okay. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure having this yoga discussion with you this evening on the Fit In Lady Like a Boss series, episode 4. I'm so grateful for your time. I thank you for being here to talk to us about this tonight. I do plan to do a holistic nutrition episode in the future. And when we get to that one, I would like to invite you back to talk to us about that, because I truly do mean that. And I know a lot of people understand where I'm coming from, especially, chemists, doctors, certified nutritionists. Food really is medicine. And while I'm not certified in that area, I plan to bring on quite a few people in rotation that can talk to the audience about that in detail, because I really want to see people in general that have been told you have this situation or that situation going on, and the first resolve has been medication, and they're not even 40. Some of them are not even 30. And so I'm like, what is going to happen to our bodies when we get older if we're just being pumped full of medications right now? And I'm not against medication, because there are certain situations that require it and they need it. So continue to follow your doctor's orders. But I will have a episode later on where we'll talk about holistic nutrition, and we'll talk about how food is a form of medicine, and we'll deep dive that. So I definitely want to invite you back, and I hope you will accept the invitation.
Of course I will.
Absolutely. So that is all we have for tonight. You have heard it here on Fit In Lady Like a Boss. We will see you next time for episode 5. Have a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye now.